see. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I
Okay,
can.
great. Okay. Decided to do it at the house where there isn't my little grandson right now. Just, sound wise, it might be, a distraction. All righty. Well, welcome to the October 18th meeting of Soquel Creek Water District. We have we're calling the meeting to order and we'll go for roll call, please.
Director Daniels,
I am here.
Vice President Christensen,
Here,
Director Jaffe. Director Jaffe is absent. Director Lather.
Hey,
Director Lather is absent, and President LaHue.
I am here. So is there any public comment on the closed session that we will be going to in just a moment? I'm looking for raised hands. Looks like there is a raised hand.
Your mic is available.
Hello, this is Becky Steinbruner. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. I know that you will be discussing the ongoing litigation regarding the Pure Water Soquel project. I, again, want to let you know that I am willing to drop the litigation, all of it, if you will provide three things. A final anti-degradation report. Still haven't seen it, and in fact, I'm seeing that only in the summer looks like you're contracting to do some of those studies. Second thing is evidence of a meaningful and enforceable mitigation monitoring reporting program that does involve the State Department of Fish and Wildlife. I haven't seen that, and neither have they. Third thing is an analysis of any possible radio transmission interference conflict with the new radio transmitter pole that will be at the Advanced Wastewater Treatment Plant that is very close by the new satellite microwave system on top of the Sheriff's Center, and also much of the county's emergency communication radio antennas. I have seen no evidence that there has been a study of this.
30 seconds.
Thank you. That will give the public safety in knowing that there will not be any possibility at all of radio frequency interference.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't see any other hands raised. So we will go to closed session and return at 6:30 p.m.
See you there.
Okay, I don't see either Bruce yet.
Dr. Jaffe was just promoted and still waiting for Dr. Daniels.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone. We're just gonna wait and make sure we've got everyone.
I'm here.
Good. Still no Bruce Daniels that I see yet. Give him another minute and then we'll have to press on, I suppose, but he'll probably be here. In the meantime, I will say that, we just came back out of closed session and we have no reportable items.
Dr. Daniels was just promoted.
Great. All right. Then we should have everybody. Thank you. Welcome back. So now that we have no public hearing tonight, so it's next will be the consent agenda. So is there any public comment on the consent agenda? And then we'll have board members' opportunity to remove anything from the consent agenda. Okay, we have a hand raised.
Ms. Steinbrenner, your mic is available.
Is this the wrong order? Should we first remove items
Um,
and then,
Yes.
and then if no items are removed, then it's 3 minutes for public comment on the entire
Okay.
consent agenda.
Yeah, you're probably right. So that's fine. Sorry, we'll hang in there, Ms. Steinbrenner. We'll see if there's any board members that need to remove anything, and then you will have your time for sure. So are there any board members that wish to remove anything from consent? I'm looking for hands.
I don't want to remove anything, but I just want to comment that the water use is still low,
I was noticing that too.
which is good. If you have a situation where your groundwater levels are not high enough to keep the seawater in the bay where it belongs.
Yep. It actually was one of the lowest. If you combine both aquifers, is one of the lowest we've had for that month of September. Might be the lowest. Okay. So seeing no hands up to remove anything, then we will go to public comment on the consent agenda as a whole. So Ms. Steinbrenner, you will have your time here.
Ms. Steinbrenner, your mic is available.
We can't hear you at this point.
Hello, this is Becky Steinbruner. Can you hear me now?
Now we
Yes.
can. Yep.
Thank you. I also noted the low water usage in September. I think that really lovely rain we had helped a lot with a lot of things. So I'm a little surprised that the board did not pull the item 412, the water loss audit, and also 3 months worth of financial reports, item 4.7. There was a lot of information that I think needed to be publicly examined in those. So I'm surprised you didn't, but I will comment on them. I want to first say in item 4.3, your calendar, the Finance Standing Committee is shown to be meeting October 24th, yet that has not been updated on the Finance Committee website itself. It only shows that it met in July and has not met since. in the finance reports, I am concerned about some of the what I see as deficits, very high and large deficits in the district's finances. And I want to know why your board did not receive any of this very critical information when finances are tight. The district has a very large project happening that is expensive and over budget, and
Second.
I think that you need to be asking questions of your finance director why you didn't get that information. I also see on the capital improvements fund that the Quail Run tank has been delayed. I don't understand why that is happening. That's on page 27, 28. I'm a little surprised to see that Ron Duncan and
Thank you,
the
Ms.
chairman of the
Steinbrenner.
board
Your
are
time
going
is
to
up.
death.
President Leahy, we have one other public member. Mark, your mic is available.
Okay, Mark? There was a hand raised.
My apologies, I was on mute. My name is Mark Kirby. Last night, Monday, I attended a candidate forum for those running to be on the board of Soquel Creek Water. It was a very pleasant, informative event. I'm disappointed that none of the incumbents running for their current position attended. Obviously, they don't care to share their viewpoints with the ratepayer owners of this municipality. A current board member who does not have to run for re-election this year did attend, Bruce Daniels. When the meeting was over, Mr. Daniels approached the female candidate in the dark parking lot outside the event when she was alone. He proceeded to yell at her, pound his fist into his other hand angrily as he moved closer to this lone female. I realized what was going on when she called out for help, and as I rushed over, Mr. Daniels continued to move forward as she retreated. I had to step in front of Mr. Daniels to stop the onslaught. I have two questions. Mr. Daniels, why do you feel this misogynistic act of intimidation and bullying is acceptable? And two, I demand a public apology for my wife, your victim. With that, I yield the rest of my time so Mr. Daniels can respond.
Okay, nobody's required to respond, but thank you for your comments. I'm looking to see if anybody has a comment to make. And so we will move on to consent agenda. Motion, anyone, or any comments from the board?
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Director Daniels,
Yes.
Vice President Christensen. You're on mute, Vice President Christensen.
Yes.
Thank you. Director Jaffe,
yes.
Director Lather,
Yeah.
and President Leahy.
Yes. Now, the next item is oral and written communications. And one of those last comments might have not been in the appropriate times. I don't think it had anything to do with the consent agenda. But in any case, now is the time for any comment on items not on tonight's agenda. So it looks like we have one hand raised.
Ms. Steinbrenner, your mic is available.
This is Becky Steinbruner. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. I also attended last night's candidate forum and also the one on Sunday, and I also was disappointed that none of the incumbents chose to participate, even though, as I understand, two had RSVP'd that they would at least try to be there. So it was disappointing, but it was an excellent opportunity for many people to meet the two candidates that did make time to go. And what resounded in both forums was people's, I don't know how to say it. They are very disgusted by the poor level of customer service that they have over the years and continue to receive from the district. I really want you to take a look at this. These people are your ratepayers, and your board serves them. But no one jumped up and down. One lady said it was better than Santa Cruz City, but nobody jumped up and down about what wonderful customer service. And in fact, that is a big problem with the district, is the poor customer service, as well as many people voiced this shocked disbelief at how rudely members of the public have been treated at the board meetings. So I encourage you to take a look at this, maybe have some kind of a workshop or something with your staff. But anyway, that's what I want to report to you. And I hope that Director Daniels will apologize to Ms. Kirby. I did not witness what happened, but it is completely unacceptable. And I hope that you will send a written apology, Director Daniels. I am curious about the country club well, and see that there is an additional $100,000 appropriated for it, but there's no real reason for why that cost increase is. And I have tried to go by and look at the progress of the project, and I'm not seeing any action. So I hope that you will notify the community there and let them know what's happening, because it will be a substantial amount of activity, heavy equipment in their area and near a school district. I support you doing more rainwater projects. You should be using the Glenwood Reservoir and collecting stormwater, especially given the climate change models that we're seeing, where storms will be infrequent but severe.
Thank you, Ms.
And I
Steinbrenner.
encourage
Your
you
time
to
is
do
up.
more storm.
Okie doke. I don't see any other hands raised. Are there any board members that wish to communicate on anything not on tonight's agenda?
Oh, I'll comment.
Go ahead, Carla.
Yeah, regarding the forums, it was very unfortunate. I don't know who organized the forums. It would have been very good to attend that. I didn't even hear about them until Saturday evening, and that really isn't enough time to plan or change scheduling. But maybe the next time around, there'll be a little bit better organization for whoever organized it. And I also comment, I have not heard the same thing in my walking around neighborhoods over the last 4 years, and then especially this fall, on terrible customer service. But I'd be happy to look into it, but I haven't heard anything like that. So thank you very much.
Okay. Anyone else? Okie doke.
It's Bruce here.
Yeah.
The meetings were organized and run by Becky. So that's one piece of information. And the other bit is the many people that she talked about in the audience. I counted them, there were 10 people. So facts.
Okay. All right. So we shall move on then to District Council oral report.
Thanks, President Hugh. I do have an update. So as you probably saw, the governor has announced rescinding the COVID-19 statewide declaration of emergency in February of 2023. This will have an impact on our ability to do remote, or may have an impact on our ability to do these remote only meetings. So as the board will remember, AB 2449 will take effect January 1st. That bill did in part leave in place the AB 361 remote teleconference rules that were currently utilized. But those rules require either a statewide declaration of emergency or that local or state officials are recommending measures to promote social distancing. It is unclear based on that if we will have the ability to continue doing these remote only meetings under AB 2449 and AB 361 past February. Given how recent the news is, we're still in the process of reviewing the issue and kind of hope together putting some guidance. Once we do, we'll work really closely with Ron and Emma and other staff to kind of provide some options for the board in the next couple of months. So more information to come, but I wanted to make sure the board was aware, as you likely saw the announcement. Thank you.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Nothing, and for keeping us updated. So I assume we're keeping the option of where to meet available coming up. So I just was going to ask that of Emma. Do we have that?
Yes, I've been in talks playing a little bit of phone tag with the city of Capitola, but I have reached out.
Great. Okay, thank you. Okie doke. We'll get on to administrative business then, and there are no conditional or unconditional will serves. We have 7.2, which has to do with the LAFCO, the service and sphere review that they do for everyone. So who is presenting this one?
I'll be taking this one, President
Okay,
Leahy,
Ron.
Ron. Yeah, thank you. And I believe we have Sir Joe Serrano in the audience. He's the CEO of LAFCO. And he's unmuted. And then also just a reminder that Director Lather is also on the LAFCO team, and Josh Nelson serves as legal counsel. So they may be able to help if there's additional questions. But basically, this item was brought to the board because Dr. Jaffe, along with concurrence from Director Christensen, wanted it brought back. It was mentioned in the general manager's report. And what LAFCO did a sphere of influence review for all the local water agencies and adjusted various ones, and then also suggested those were approved at a subsequent LAFCO meeting. And then ours was postponed, the recommendation, I think due to some concerns about some of the ag fields and growth in those areas, is my understanding, and certainly open to correction if I misunderstood. But long story short, in bringing that back, the map shown in here for the sphere of influence is presented, and it basically includes those islands of those ag field or two. There's two of them, and also the KOA and the Renaissance High School, which we know they're having issues down there with their water quality. So to be clear, though, the sphere of influence is the way I understand it, and I had a conversation with Mr. Serrano, is just the logical, it's a sphere around who we should logically provide. It doesn't mean we are providing them or will. It also needs to go through, as mentioned in the memo, approval by LAFCO that we would serve them. And then of course, the other step is this board would have to approve service to them. But I would like to add, and it's in the engineering's report, but I wanted to bring it out, that Taj has been leading the effort, and to me, some extent, talking to the school down there, Renaissance School, and their staff and the state water board staff. They play a role, especially in the funding arena, to bring to the board at a future date an item where they could join us, because it's going to, as they indicate, a hardship for them to, I think, adhere to the some of the water quality regulations, or that they're just concerned about water quality. So I'll just stop there and open it up to questions, and realize we have a few knowledgeable people here on this. Thank you.
And I'll just add that, there's no decisions to be made on this tonight. This is informational and for discussion.
Right. Thank you.
And I guess I'll see if we have public comment on the issue first. Looking for raised hands. And there is one.
Ms. Steinbrenner, your mic is available.
Hello, this is Becky Steinbruner. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate you bringing this to the board again in our agenda item. And I am glad to see that the district is going to at least consider bringing in and providing service to Renaissance High and the KOA. I have talked with those people and am aware that they have very serious problems with Chrome 6. The Pajaro School District tried to help that problem at the school by putting reverse osmosis treatments at the school. But the problem that I understand from staff is that the well also pulls sand at various times, which is just death to the reverse osmosis process. So I hope that you will expedite this, because I think that they are working with the Clean Water. Oh, it's an organization in Watsonville. That is a statewide program, and through the Department of Water Resources, to get free bottled water. State Regional Water Quality Control Board tried to give the school free water under their program, but the school administration refused to admit that there was a crisis, because who knows why.
30
but
seconds.
that caused a lot of problems. So the free bottled water is actually coming from a nonprofit in the area. I also remember that this was before your board when Mr. Cartwright actually asked for annexation, and you refused it. So if you accept Renaissance and the KOA, I expect that Mr. Cartwright will also want to be included, and I will be curious to see how that works. And that would eliminate an island of service, which is under the purview
Thank you,
of
Ms.
LAFCO.
Steinbrenner. Your time is up.
Okay. And just to clarify, this is a sphere of influence. No annexation is involved. That's a separate issue, separate process. Okie doke. Questions or comments from the board?
I think Dr. Daniels has a
Oh,
hand.
there Bruce Chappie's got a hand up. I didn't see Bruce Daniels' hand.
He's physical hand waving.
Oh, there, I can't see that.
Go,
Okay.
go ahead, Bruce.
We'll do
Okay,
the,
I wanted to bring up, I'm not sure this is even addressable, but it's a fairness issue. I mean, we currently have an island down there that we've been serving water to for a long time, but it is in the Pajaro Valley sphere. And as I understand it, they pay us, every time we deliver a gallon of water to them, but then they also have to pay the Pajaro Valley every time they get a gallon of water from us, even though it's not coming out of the Pajaro Valley agency's boundary. It's coming from our boundary. And I'm kind of concerned that the same sort of thing is going to happen to these other institutions we're talking about, is that they're going to have to pay double for water. They're going to have to pay us for the water, and they're also going to have to pay Pajaro Valley, even though presumably they will be getting water not from Pajaro Valley area, but from the Soquel Creek area. And so that just seems totally unfair, and I don't know what can be done about it. But if that, and they clearly are not getting any service, to me it's clear anyway, from the Pajaro Valley. They are kind of this island out in the far distant islands, and they're not getting any help from central government or something. So I was wondering if there's anything that can be done about that, and how can we address this issue? Because if we could release some of this money, then that, and you can consider that these agencies have been paying Pajaro Valley, for decades now for the water that they've been using, but not really getting service from.
so just to clarify on that point, isn't the new sphere of influence include that area?
It does.
Yeah.
But
That doesn't mean it's not
I know.
also in the Pajaro Valley boundary. That was set by the legislature when they established it. So they can both be in Pajaro Valley boundary, and they can be in our sphere of influence, and they would have to pay twice, once to us for the water and once to Pajaro Valley for the water.
That doesn't seem right. I agree.
Well, the people we already serve down there, according to what I've been told, have to do that too. And they've been doing it for a long time. They pay us for the water that they purchase, and then they pay the Pajaro Valley for the water that we supply.
Bruce Chappie?
Yes. I'm having trouble with my video, so I'm just gonna go audio here. First of all, thank you for including this starting discussion on tonight's agenda. I have to educate myself more about sphere of influence and what goes into it. But I have a couple questions and then just an overall philosophy. Actually, in general, it looks like this boundary is pretty regular, but there are some places where it's not. And maybe somebody can kind of tell me what goes into making it irregular. Like one thing that jumps out to me is on the figure on page 193 of 196. Can you put that one up?
Mhm.
Right there. And if you go above the E or the L in Soquel Creek, in Soquel, there's a little indentation of the boundary in from Highway 1. Is there an explanation for that? If not, I can do research on this later.
Well, I'll just state that we do have Joe Serrano on. So if the board would like for him to speak, I'm sure he can address
Yeah,
some of
I would
this.
like him to speak if he has knowledge about this.
Director President LaHue, do you want to give him?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just
Okay.
looking for him.
Is he still on, Emma?
Yes.
Looks
So
like
Joe-
it.
Yep. So Joe, you want to address his question or about the irregularities in the boundary?
And
Good evening, board members. This is Joe Serrano. Can you repeat the question, please?
So
Yeah.
on the map,
Go
on
ahead,
the map
Bruce.
being shown on the screen, can you see that, Joe?
Yes, sir.
Okay, above the EL. Well, first of all, the general comment is that there's some irregularities to the boundary, and I can guess that some of those are because of where housing is. But one that I couldn't come up with an explanation for is the indentation above the EL in Soquel that's just south of Highway 1. Just instead of following Highway 1, it goes inland. I mean, sorry, towards the sea a bit, and it just seemed odd to me.
And board member, are you referring to the district's jurisdictional boundary or the new sphere boundary? I just want clarification.
The sphere boundary.
Yeah, so what we try to accomplish with working with your staff is to determine areas that the district would be the most logical provider. And prior to this sphere boundary, if you look at the areas in blue, the district is fragmented in three pieces. You have your large pieces, and then you have your two smaller islands. And so what LAFCO wanted to accomplish is these areas in between those two islands, the main body of the district and the smaller one on the southern portion, will the district be the most logical provider to provide services to those areas? There's no other water district in that area. So in the future, if any of those landowners or residents wanted to get a better level of service or a better quality of water, and they wanted to connect to the district, Soquel Creek Water would be the most logical provider. So that's what the sphere is attempting to identify the district as the most logical provider. Again, just to reiterate to the board, the spheres are a planning tool. They just indicate who could provide water to a particular area. That doesn't require the areas to annex into the district, but it does give us a foundation to have discussions. Now, if the board or the district want to amend the sphere, we can definitely do that as well. It's not set in stone. It's just meant to be a planning tool for the district. So if the board or the districts feel that there's some irregularities or there's a better way of representing the sphere boundary, LAFCO is more than happy to have those discussions.
Okay, that's good enough. I'll talk with the district about, the details of where the boundary is irregular and what the explanation for that is. That's it for a question. I have a comment, and that's that the district is probably most people on this Zoom know has a seawater prevention program, and that includes development of the first new water supply in the county in 50 years, the pure water Soquel. And we've sized that and planned for that to help build up a freshwater hill of water in areas where in the past seawater has been past the groundwater levels have been below sea level, and that's to push the seawater out or keep it from coming in. But in my mind, it's not proven yet that this will work, and we don't have numbers. Well, the proof will be in the pudding as soon as that is online, and as soon as we start recharging and injecting water into areas where the groundwater is low, we'll see whether it's doing what we thought it would. But until that point, I'm reluctant to add additional demand that's not offset by conservation measures to the district's obligations for serving water. So that's just, I support this process, but for me to make a decision when it actually comes to whether or not we serve within the sphere boundary, that'll depend on the details at the time that the decision has to be made about how successful our seawater prevention program is. Long-winded, I know.
Raj has his hand up.
Hi, I was just going to answer the question about that little jog. And that is one lot at the intersection of Bonita and Larkin Valley / San Andreas Road. And it's a lot that's on the east side of San Andreas Road. And it is not currently served. I should verify if we're currently serving it, but I don't believe we are. Well,
And Taj, why would it not be in the sphere of influence, though?
yeah, it could be one that we can look at with Joe on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably a remnant.
Mm-hmm.
I have a comment also.
Okay, go for it, Carla.
I was getting ready to, I found the raised hand switch. But
Oh, good.
the first time I heard this, I was sort of I realized this is just a formal proposal or a a sphere of influence, but I know a lot of the houses in that whole area are compromised, as are some houses within our current the blue service areas, the jurisdictional boundary, that happen to be on wells. They have bad water. They have that Chrome 6 in their single use, their single owner wells. And I know in that whole section there are houses up to the highway and probably be on the other side of the highway that have it. And I just wonder what, whether by taking a position and serving a Pajaro Valley school, in the first place, whether that would set a precedent to, without any conservation and not without another source of water that we might need to actually accommodate all of those hookups in that area. And I know that's taking it far into the future, but that is how this all happens. Renaissance School has been there for how many years? And I fully understand that problem with their wells, because I know other people who are not able to drink their water and barely able to shower in their own homes too. So I just, that is partly where my concern comes. It might make the borders look good, but is it really something that this district can accommodate? So thank you. That's all.
I just wanted to add a comment myself. I think, and I see there's another hand, perhaps. So let me look there. Bruce Daniels in a second. So Bruce, I was just going to say though, anytime we provide water to anybody, whether it's Renaissance School or somewhere else, that someone's in need because of poor water quality, I think, that's going to be as a case-by-case basis, and they're going to present their evidence, and we're going to have to make a decision based on that. And I think we should separate. I know it looks like it's a slippery slope, but a sphere of influence just is a logical boundary. And I think, if somebody comes to us and, they've got kids there and they don't have an adequate water supply, I think we're going to want to think about, I feel like we'll have to see the evidence and then make a decision. But we want to provide water to those in need if we can, while still protecting the aquifer, I know. Bruce Daniels.
Well, I want to second what Mr. Jaffe was saying, that if you may remember, we only have our injection wells kind of, in the Aptos area. And the only way we could get, the far south of our district to balance was to reduce pumping there. So we are fairly low pumping down here. And by adding additional demand down here, first of all, with Chrome 6, we're not going to want to take over their wells, because we'd have to put in these, $1 million treatment plants to be able to use their wells. And that doesn't pencil out very well. And adding additional demand back down there without their wells would mean we would need to be able, and it really becomes quite awkward. And it also, you have to look at the fact that, we have bad Chrome 6 problems in our Aptos area and Seascape area, but the further east you go from there, the worse the Chrome 6 problem becomes. So, as bad as we are, dealing with the Chrome 6 that we have already in our area, you go further to the east, and it really becomes difficult to use anything down there. And as to logical boundaries, I look upon that little orange circle down there, and that doesn't look very logical to me. It looks hacked up. That there are clearly two users down there who would like service because they're having these Chrome 6 problems, and they're not going to be the only ones. I think it's going to be miles of that heading to the east, because Pajaro Valley doesn't serve that area. They're in the boundary, but they have no plans really to deal with that, from what I understand. So we are kind of, by putting our nose under the tent here, we're kind of getting ourselves into a problem of, having a whole new water district we're responsible for. So I think we need to really be careful about this.
There's a couple of hands up, and I'm also going to ask either Ron or Taj to confirm that water can be moved from the mid-county area to that end of the district.
Yeah, if I may go, and Taj chime in if I missed something, but yeah, my understanding is our main line, I think it's a 12-inch, is just short, maybe 100 yards of the school. So if that's, and we would not be paying for these costs, of course, the state water board would be helping Renaissance, but that's one component. And Taj, let me stop there to see if I captured that part right.
Yeah, we have a nearby main, and then we also have Aptos pump station, and we have we have a new pipeline along the shore at the end of Sumner. So most of the infrastructure is there. They do have to extend maybe 1,000 feet or something of pipe.
My point being, water would not have to be pumped from that area to be able to provide water. That's all.
Correct.
Yeah. And then the other things I want to add in, I want to be clear that Mr. Serrano did not make that area well, he did, but at my recommendation. So I want to take full blame credit for that one. Thinking, because we've been working with Renaissance for a while now. And so I'm glad I did, so we could have this discussion. I think what I'm hearing is, before Renaissance School in Pajaro Valley and the state board has to do a lot of work, maybe we need a litmus test to come back to the board on this. And then I'll just point out, we don't have a well in that exact area. So that plays into it, but they are already pumping. So it's not additional demand on the basin necessarily, but it doesn't help us when they lay off that area so much. So I think there's just a nuance there that may or may not be critical, but those are the things I wanted to point out. But what I'm mainly hearing is maybe it'd be good to get some direction from the board to bring this item back, because it's really because I don't want staff and all these other folks to work so hard if the board says, it's probably not the right time to be pursuing that. That'd be good to have direction, or maybe I get that tonight. Thank you.
I can't tell if hands are still up or they're left up from previous comments. Bruce Jaffe, did you have another comment?
Yeah, it's a new hand.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm first a question. Is it possible for other water districts to serve within our sphere of influence, or are we the only ones that can do that? Or the sphere boundary?
Well, that's kind of a LAFCO question, but in practicality, I mean, Pajaro doesn't serve water, right? Except for irrigation. They do charge fees to pumpers, but they're not a water provider per se, except for that recycled irrigation water. Taj, as far as practicality, is Central, that would be a no on that, huh?
To this specific area?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, not Central.
Okay.
There's no other
So
municipal.
a follow-up question, and actually I would like to revisit this at a future meeting with more information. Is there an expectation, if we have a sphere boundary, that will serve anyone within that boundary? And I'm leaving that open, and maybe that's a discussion for another meeting. But Tom, I agree with you. If we can serve and help out, let's do that. But let's make sure that by doing that, we're not jeopardizing what we're trying to accomplish with this
for sure
prevention. Yeah.
I totally agree with that. We've worked too hard to get where we are.
Yeah.
And presently,
like Joe has his hand up.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you again, board members. I just want to answer a couple of questions and comments that I've heard. by law, there can't be overlap of service delivery. If, for example, one area can't be within 2 water districts, so there can't be any overlap. And Mr. Mr. Ron was correct about Pajaro Valley Water and Soquel Creek Water District. They provide different services, so that's why in some cases you do see that overlap. But in this case, Central, there is no overlap. What LAFCO has done these last 2 years is we looked at every single sphere regarding water districts, fire districts, and removed all overlaps so that there's only one logical provider identified for a particular area. And as far as the proposed sphere boundary regarding the Renaissance, that area, there's a lot of extraterritorial service agreements already in place, meaning that the water district's already providing services in some of those areas. So that's the kind of the reason behind the logic of that boundary. And you're absolutely right about determining whether or not the district is willing and capable of providing services to these areas that are outside your district, but within your sphere. There's no obligation for the district to provide water to that area, just like there's no obligation for the residents to hook up to the district. And it needs to be by a case-by-case situation where there needs to be analysis by your staff presented to your board to determine, yes, we are willing and capable of providing services to that area. And then we also have to coordinate with LAFCO to get those areas officially annexed and added into the district before you can provide water. So there's this whole process that's extensive, and that's by design, because we want to make sure that the district is capable of providing services and the residents are willing to get services, and LAFCO supports that. So there's a lot of components and milestones that need to be accomplished. And this sphere is just meant to have those discussions. And if the district does not or cannot provide services, then it's a non-starter. LAFCO's not here to force any annexations. LAFCO's here just to be a resource and to help boundary changes when they are feasible and make sense.
Okay,
Thank you, Joe.
thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I obviously, it's going to come back one way or the other. And I think hopefully you've got some food for thought of what you would want to bring back. I don't know if there's any other comments of what people would like to see when brought back.
I think we're good unless people want to add, but I think Mr. Serrano nailed it. We need to bring back, I think, an analysis by staff to the board, pros and cons, whatever, on this item. And I think we'll try to do it as sooner than later, just so we're not, the Renaissance School knows where the board stands at this point, where we stand. So I think we're good.
Okay. Look, Bruce Daniels, you had another comment?
Well, what I would like to see is rather than sort of nickel and diming this thing of bring this on, bring that on, of a long range plan of, who is in this general area, not just in this particular, thing that's been laid out here, but who else is in that area that might well want to be in this area and might well want to be served, and how much water, are they currently using? How much water are they predicted to use in the next 10, 20, 30 years? And I'd like to then, for example, crank up the water model again and see, could our system, handle that, or what would have to be done to our system to make it be able to handle, this 30-year horizon kind of a thing. So that's what I'd like to see.
Got it. Okay. Good thought. All right, shall we move on, folks? An informational item, so we will move on to 7.3, which is attendance at the area Chamber of Commerce leadership visit. Ron, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. And quite simply, this leadership visit is proven fruitful in the past through the relationship building. I had enrolled Melanie Mal Schumacher and myself. I won't be able to attend now because I'll be in Denmark. So we have a ticket that is non-refundable because the chamber has to go out. They pre-purchase this stuff. We inquired on that, but it is transferable. So if what's before you tonight is if you would like to have one of or more, we could buy additional tickets, I suppose, if more than one board member wants to go. But if they don't, if no board members wants to go, then we'll find a suitable staff member to fill my role. But that's what's in front of you. And there's the cost.
Any public comment on this item? Seeing no hands. Wait, hand just went up. Okay.
Ms. Steinbrenner, your mic is available.
Hello, this is Becky Steinbrenner. Can
Yes.
Yep.
I wanted to,
It's a little soft, Becky. Please speak louder.
oh, thank you. I just want to support one of the board members going to this leadership visit in Monterey. And again, I'm pretty amazed that the country of Denmark will pay for Ron Duncan and I guess the president of the board, the chairman of the board, to also go. And I'm hoping that you will at least discuss how that will benefit the district and its ratepayers. But I hope that one of the board members will find time to go to this leadership conference in Monterey. Thank you.
Okay. So any other board comment or question?
I fully support this. I am not able to go. I fully support another board member going.
I wanted to know exactly what it is.
In general, I mean, there is did I attach the, I didn't attach the itinerary. I can send it to you, but it basically starts, everybody boards a bus. It's a day and a half, one night down in Monterey. The first stop is Pure Water Monterey. Typically, they'll try to look at some housing situation. Last time it focused on low income, and there's always a water nexus to that. Sometimes and then the third component, there's a third component to it. I forget what that is, but it's
Energy.
Pardon?
Energy.
Yes, thank you. I've got it in the memo, huh? It's energy, which is, a critical component to any water agency. So and that's meeting with our local C3 provider. That's the large scale, but I can certainly share the agenda, but those are the three components. The what you learn on the road is equally valuable to the relationships. That's how I would balance it.
Okay. Any other questions or?
Yeah, I might be interested. I'm looking at my calendar.
And Carla, you're muted if you're trying to speak.
I'll speak up of the value of that. I thought it was, these are very well organized conferences. It's a field trip. And so the trip that I went on did focus on low income housing and water projects to, water projects. And I thought it was really worthwhile. It informed my knowledge of low income housing. There's some really impressive work going on in the Bay Area. And so I support it. I'm standing back and seeing if someone who hasn't gone on a trip before, they would like to go.
Maybe we can do this over email.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we just need to authorize board members.
Exactly. So I support it. I'll move to authorize the attendance. And
yeah, and I'll reach out. I'll share the agenda with Director Lather, and if she declines, I'll go back to Carla Christensen, Director Christensen, and then if anybody else wants to speak up now, I'll go to them. So,
okay, we have a motion.
Are we allowed to make a motion?
Yes, any director can make the motion, Director Jaffe.
Carla made a motion, I think.
I'll second it.
One of those two gets a second.
Sorry.
Okay. I don't know who said it first.
I think I beat him.
Okay, all right, we'll go with Michelle. We need a little buzzer. So, all right, roll call, please.
Director Daniels,
Yes.
Vice President Christensen,
Yes.
Director Jaffe,
We need a buzzer. My answer is what is yes.
Director Lather,
Awesome.
I just found hesitating, so I jumped in there. Yeah.
President LaHue.
Yes, I loved Bruce's answer. Okay, or question. All right, well, thank you. And then next item is item 7.4, which is informational, but some more accolades. Is this Ron, you again?
It's actually Emma's going to present.
Emma's
on-
doing this. Okay,
Yep,
great.
mhm.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emma, and I'll be presenting item 7.4. I'm really excited to share that the district has been selected as a top 10 national winner within the leadership category as part of Government Technology's Special Districts 2022 Awards Program. So this award recognizes district leaders that have led projects with clear vision, leadership, and the use of technology. And this really exemplifies what our board has done when addressing local groundwater challenges, and then through the development of the Pure Water Soquel project. Some highlights of that include our use of SkyTem for groundwater modeling and seawater intrusion, an independent technical advisory panel from the National Water Research Institute, a mobile education trailer, and then the use of proven technology to purify and recycle water, which is the essence of the Pure Water Soquel project. So for these efforts, you might remember a memo from June of 2022 when the district was recognized as an idea worth sharing. As an idea worth sharing, we are now eligible to be recognized as a national winner. So if Becca, if you don't mind just jumping to attachment 1 link, that'll showcase the other 2022 ideas worth sharing. So these include technology innovations from around the United States within 3 categories: citizens, leadership, and operations. So we were in leadership, is what we won in. But if you scroll down, you'll see some projects. I won't go through all of them, but ours is a little bit towards the bottom, and ours is called Sustainable Water Supply, Soquel Creek Water District. So we're just really excited to share that we are one of the top 10 winners in the leadership category, and we're extremely proud of the recognition we have received for the board's leadership. So I'm done with my presentation, but if Melanie or Ron want to add anything else, please share.
Thanks, Emma.
Thank you.
You did a great job, Emma.
Yep, well done, Emma. Thank you.
Kudos
For
to,
sentence.
kudos to the staff.
Yeah.
For the excellent work.
Yep.
Great
As
outreach.
usual. Okay. Any other, was there public comment on this item? I guess that was another. Yes, there is.
Ms. Steinbrenner, your mic's available.
Hello, this is Becky Steinbrunner. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I am not seeing attachment 1 in the board packet. Where can I find that information? Is it
I think
is
they
it
were
somewhere
just-
else?
I can
I think they're
respond.
just links, aren't they?
I can respond to that. There's links, and I actually, when we were publishing the packet, some of the links broke. So I will publish an updated packet tomorrow with all working links. So that is available on our, will be available on our website.
Excellent. Thank you. Congratulations on your award. Thank you. Don't agree with the project, but congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, any other comments, folks?
No, I'd like to offer my congratulations too. Well done. This is a good, this project has been a very good idea generator. So I'm glad we got an award for sharing. So.
Yeah, and I think between staff and board, just going for it, and sometimes that weren't always easy to keep going for it, So I think it's great.
Thank you. On behalf
Um,
of the staff.
All right, kids, I think we're getting close. I think our next item might be adjournment.
We need to have public comment on that.
On adjournment? I hope not.
We do not. Thank you, though.
The next meeting will be, I think, on the 1st of November. And then the next one after that would be the 22nd.
Yes, and just make note that that's a one-off on the 22nd, right? It's been moved. It's not the third Tuesday. Thank you.
Okay.
Good night,
All
everyone.
right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
As usual.
Good
Bye.
night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.